There is something you already know about yourself that you have forgotten. Deep down, beneath all the noise of your daily life, beneath all the doubt and the fear and the endless searching, there is a part of you that understands something profoundly true about how reality actually works. And what if I told you that this truth has been hidden in plain sight your entire life, that it explains every success you have ever had, every dream that came true, every moment where something impossible suddenly became real? What if the reason you haven't achieved what you truly desire is not because it is impossible, but because you have been looking for it in the wrong direction entirely? We live in a world that has taught us to chase time. We have been conditioned to believe that what we want exists somewhere in the future, separated from us by days and months and years of hard work and struggle and waiting. We look at our lives and we see the distance between where we are and where we want to be. And we feel that familiar ache of incompleteness, that hollow longing that whispers to us that we are not enough yet, that we need to become more, achieve more, acquire more before we can finally feel the peace and fulfillment we secretly crave. This belief has become the architecture of our suffering. It is the invisible prison we have built around our own consciousness. But what if everything you have been taught about time and manifestation is fundamentally backwards? What if the future you are chasing so desperately is not actually ahead of you at all, but already exists within you right now, in this very moment, as a completed reality in the realm of consciousness? What if every desire you feel is not a sign of what you lack, but a profound calling from the person you are already becoming, trying to pull you into alignment with who you have already become in the invisible world? Feel this for a moment. Let this question sit inside your chest and resonate there. Because understanding this changes everything. Think back to a moment in your life when something you wanted actually came true. Not something small, but something that truly mattered to you. Can you feel it? Can you remember that moment with enough clarity that it becomes almost as real as it was when it happened? Go there now. Feel what it was like. What did you believe about yourself in that moment? How did you feel? What did you know to be true about your life that was different from what you believed before? When you can touch that memory with enough emotional clarity, you will discover something extraordinary. You will realize that before that reality manifested in your external world, it first became real within you. Your certainty came first. Your feeling of already having it came first. The external manifestation was simply the echo, the reflection, the physical confirmation of what you had already completed internally. This is not mystical thinking. This is not wishful fantasy. This is the fundamental architecture of consciousness itself. Every single thing that exists in your external world right now, every circumstance, every relationship, every amount of money in your bank account, every success or struggle you are facing, all of it first existed as a completed assumption within your consciousness. Your assumptions about yourself, about life, about what is possible for you, these have shaped every detail of your reality. And if this is true, then the question that should haunt you with its power is this: what assumptions are you living from right now? You see, most people spend their entire lives trying to change their external reality. They work harder, they network more, they make vision boards, and they write affirmations, and they pray, and they wish, and they wait for the universe to give them what they want. But they are operating from a fundamental misunderstanding about how reality works. They are trying to rearrange the effects while leaving the cause completely untouched. It is like trying to move the shadow across the wall without moving the object that casts it. The shadow will never move unless the object moves first. Your external reality is the shadow. Your consciousness is the object. Your assumptions are the light. Now there is a specific reason we have been taught to chase time and to postpone our fulfillment into the future. Fear created this belief. The human being facing the unknown, facing the vastness of their own potential, feeling the weight of their own responsibility for creating their reality, naturally retreated into a more comfortable story. The story goes like this: it is not my fault. I need more time. I am not ready yet. The conditions are not right. I need permission from someone else. I need the right circumstances. I need to become a different person first. And oh, how comforting this story feels. It releases us from the terrifying responsibility of knowing that we are the creators of our own lives. It is easier to wait for time to pass than to assume right now that we are already complete, already whole, already deserving of what we desire. But here is what happens when you live in this story. Years pass. Opportunities come and go. Relationships begin and end. Money flows and disappears. And you remain in the same internal state, the same feeling of incompleteness, the same assumed poverty of spirit, even as your external circumstances shift and change. You chase a promotion and you get it, but you still feel unworthy. You find the person you thought would complete you, but you still feel alone. You accumulate money, but it slips through your fingers because you still assume you are someone who does not have enough. The external world keeps reflecting back to you the only reality that truly matters: what you believe about yourself. What if the collapse of time, what if the instant manifestation you have been searching for is not about forcing the external world to change faster? What if it is actually about shifting something much more fundamental, much more intimate, much more directly within your control? What if it is about the assumptions you are making about who you are and what is already true of your life right now? When you change this, when you truly change the assumption you are living from, the external world has no choice but to respond. It will reshape itself to match the new internal reality you are inhabiting. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a person who has struggled with money their entire life. Their bank account is small. Their circumstances are tight. Every month there is anxiety about making ends meet. They have been told over and over that if they just work harder, if they just apply for that better job, if they just invest in that course, then maybe someday they will be financially free. So they search and they strive and they consume more content about money, all while carrying the same deep assumption that money is something that comes to people like them slowly, with great difficulty, through endless work. Can you feel the trap in this? Here is what this person does not realize. Every thought about their financial situation, every time they check their bank balance with worry, every conversation they have with someone else about not having enough, every time they decline an invitation because they cannot afford it, they are not just observing their financial reality. They are actively reinforcing it. They are practicing the assumption of scarcity. They are using their imagination and their emotion every single day to create more of what they do not want. The universe does not judge these assumptions as right or wrong, as positive or negative. It simply responds. It is like a mirror that knows only how to reflect back exactly what you show it. But what if this person made a different choice? Not a choice to work harder or to change their circumstances, though those things might follow naturally, but a choice to change their assumption about what is already true of them. What if, right now in this moment, they assumed that they were already a person of means, already a person worthy of abundance, already a person who lived generously and without fear? What if, when they went to buy their coffee tomorrow morning, they made that purchase with the assumption of affluence? What if they felt in their body what it feels like to be someone who knows with certainty that money flows to them naturally and abundantly? Not as fantasy, but as a lived truth, as a completed identity they are already inhabiting. This is not about delusion. This is about something far more powerful. This is about emotional alignment. When you shift your assumption about yourself, your entire nervous system shifts. Your energy changes. Your decisions change. A person who assumes they are wealthy will make different choices than a person who assumes they are poor. They will speak differently. They will carry themselves differently. They will perceive different opportunities in their environment. And more mysteriously still, the people around them will respond differently. The world will open doors that it had kept closed before. But here is the deep secret that very few people ever truly understand. None of this matters in terms of time passing. The assumption you make right now is not setting up a process that will result in abundance at some later date. The assumption you make right now is the very completion of what you are assuming. Think about this. When you assume that you are already a person of abundance, you are already living in that reality. The feeling is real. The knowledge is real. The identity is real. It is not a future promise. It is a present reality. The external world will simply arrange itself to reflect this. It will catch up. And this catching up is what we call manifestation. But the real manifestation, the true creation, has already occurred within you. This is why time is an illusion in the process of manifestation. Time becomes irrelevant because the thing you desire is not moving towards you from the future. You are not chasing it. You are not becoming it. You have already assumed it. And the external world, being nothing more than a reflection of your consciousness, can only respond to what you have already decided to be true of yourself. The delay, the waiting, the years of struggle, these are all artifacts of assumptions you were making that created a different reality. Change the assumption and the delay disappears. Change the assumption and you collapse time itself. But this requires something that very few people are willing to give. It requires you to let go of the identity you have been practicing, the story you have been telling about yourself, even if that story is comfortable and familiar. You have become so skilled at being the person who is searching, who is struggling, who is not yet worthy, that it has become like a second skin. The thought of shedding this identity creates anxiety. It creates resistance. Your ego whispers to you that if you let go of struggle, you will lose your motivation. If you stop chasing, you will fall behind. If you assume you already have what you want, you will become lazy and complacent. But this is the greatest lie that fear has ever told you. The truth is the exact opposite. When you stop chasing and you start assuming, when you shift from the energy of desperation into the energy of someone who already possesses what they want, you become activated in a completely different way. You make better decisions. You take inspired action instead of desperate action. You are no longer grasping. You are no longer trying to force things. You are moving from a place of wholeness instead of a place of emptiness. And this wholeness, this completeness, this is the actual power that creates transformation. It is never the struggle. It was never meant to be the struggle. Think about the people you know who seem to effortlessly attract what they want. They are not working harder than everyone else. Often they work less. But they carry themselves differently. They speak with a different kind of certainty. They make different choices because they are operating from a different assumption about what is possible for them and what is already true of their value. This is not luck. This is not privilege, though privilege can create certain advantages. This is the natural result of living from a higher assumption about yourself and your life. Now, I want you to sit with something for a moment. There is a part of you that is terrified of this teaching. There is a part of you that is afraid that if you truly accepted the power of your own assumptions, if you truly took responsibility for creating your own reality, that you would have to stop blaming your circumstances. You would have to stop telling the story about why things are hard, why you are unlucky, why other people have advantages you do not have. And there is something almost sweet about staying in that victim story, because it keeps you safe from the responsibility of knowing that you are far more powerful than you have been living. But consider the alternative. Consider what it costs you to maintain this story. How many dreams have you postponed? How many relationships have you avoided? How many risks have you not taken because you assumed you were not ready? How many years have you spent waiting for permission from the external world when the only permission that actually matters is the permission you give to yourself from within your own consciousness? How much pain have you carried because you were convinced that your current circumstances were fixed, when in reality they were only as fixed as your assumptions about them were rigid? The most profound realization you can have is this: you have been free all along. You have been complete all along. The wholeness you are searching for outside yourself already exists inside you right now. The person you are trying to become has already been created in the invisible realm of consciousness. And the only thing that has ever stood between you and the manifestation of this reality is the assumptions you have been making about what is currently true. This is why we say time collapses in manifestation. Because when you truly shift your assumption, when you move from I want this someday to I am this now, when you move from I am trying to become worthy to I am already worthy, the timeline simply vanishes. There is no process, there is no waiting. There is only the present moment in which you have chosen to embody a new assumption about yourself. And the external world, being infinitely responsive to the internal state of consciousness, simply arranges itself to match this new truth that you are now living. Now, here is something very important that most teachings miss. This is not about positive thinking. It is not about replacing negative thoughts with positive ones. It is far deeper than that. It is about emotional assumption. It is about the feeling state you are inhabiting. Thoughts can lie to you. You can think positive thoughts while your emotional assumption is still rooted in scarcity and unworthiness. But the external world does not respond to your thoughts. It responds to what you feel, to what you assume to be true in the deep cellular memory of your body. When you feel the emotion of already having what you want, when you can place yourself in a scenario and feel what it would feel like to be living that reality, something shifts. Your nervous system settles into a new baseline. Your vibration changes. And this is what the universe is actually responding to. Not your words, not your affirmations, not your vision boards, though these can be tools. The universe responds to your emotional signature. It responds to what you are feeling to be true about yourself right now, in this very moment. Let me show you how to practice this, because understanding this intellectually is one thing, but living it, embodying it, making it a felt reality is everything. Choose something you want to experience or become or have. Not something grandiose and impossible feeling, but something that, if you allow yourself, you can actually imagine already being true. Feel it now. Close your eyes if you want to. Place yourself in a scenario where this thing is already real for you. What do you see? What are you doing? Who is around you? What does your body feel like? Your breath? Your heartbeat? How do you stand? How do you speak? Now the crucial part. Feel the emotion of already being this person, already having this thing, already living this reality. Not the desperate feeling of I want this so badly. That is the feeling of lack. But the settling feeling of this is already true of me. I am already this. I am already living this. It is the feeling of a completed fact. It is the feeling of remembering something you already knew to be true, rather than trying to convince yourself of something new. This is assumption. This is the actual power of manifestation. When you practice this regularly, when you return to this assumption again and again, you are not sending a request out to the universe, hoping it will be granted. You are not working on yourself, trying to become worthy. You are simply settling into a new identity, a new assumption about what is already true of your consciousness. And the external world has no choice but to catch up. It will catch up. It always does. Because reality, at its deepest level, is nothing more than the externalization of consciousness. Your body is manifestation. Your relationships are manifestation. Your financial situation is manifestation. The entire world you perceive is the universe's way of showing you what you have assumed to be true about yourself. This is why we say that time is an illusion in manifestation. Time is not actually real. It is a construct of consciousness. Your consciousness can move through what appears to be moments and hours and years, but the reality of consciousness itself exists beyond time, in an eternal present moment. When you access this present moment fully, when you truly assume something to be true, you are no longer bound by the illusion of waiting. You are no longer bound by the law of cause, an effect that says something must first happen before you can feel a certain way. You simply decide to feel the way you would feel if it were already done. And in the realm of consciousness, it is already done. The physical manifestation is simply the lagging reflection. But I want to speak to something very real that you might be feeling right now. There is a part of you that has believed your limitations for a very long time. There is a part of you that has identified with your struggles, with your unworthiness, with your inability to have what you truly want. And shifting this assumption might feel like a betrayal of yourself. It might feel like you are denying something that feels so obviously true about your circumstances. The debt feels real. The rejection feels real. The isolation feels real. The sense of being stuck feels real. And I am not here to tell you that you are imagining things or that you are not facing real obstacles. But here is the deepest truth that will set you free. Your circumstances are real, but they are not permanent. They are not who you are. They are not a fixed feature of your identity. They are the result of assumptions you have been making, and assumptions can be changed. The person you were when you created these circumstances was operating from a certain belief about themselves. But you are not that person anymore. You have the power to change your assumption right now. You have the power to shift from the person who struggles to the person who prospers, from the person who is alone to the person who is deeply connected, from the person who cannot to the person who easily can. And when you make this shift, when you truly assume a new identity, something miraculous begins to happen. Opportunities you had never seen before suddenly become visible. People who can help you suddenly appear in your life. Ideas that you had never considered suddenly occur to you. The external world begins to shift and reshape itself to match the new assumption you are living. This is not magic. This is physics. This is the law of correspondence that says, as above, so below, as within, so without. Your inner reality creates your outer reality with perfect fidelity. Not eventually, not someday, but now. Always now. One of the greatest fears that keeps people trapped in limitation is the fear of being wrong. What if I assume I am worthy and then something fails? What if I assume I deserve abundance and then I lose the money? What if I assume I am loved and then I get rejected? So you stay small, you stay safe. You do not assume too much, do not believe too much. Do not risk feeling the disappointment of being wrong. But this is a tragic way to live, because you are betting your entire existence that it is better to be small and safe than to be powerful and vulnerable. But here is what actually happens when you shift your assumption. You may face external circumstances that look like failure. You may be rejected. You may experience loss. These are not signs that you are wrong about who you are. They are temporary conditions, not truths about your identity. A person who assumes they are worthy can be rejected and remain worthy. A person who assumes they are abundantly provided for can experience temporary lack and remain in the assumption of abundance. The circumstances are always temporary. Your identity, your assumption, this is what is real. This is what is eternal. Circumstances come and go. Assumptions create what comes next. Think about it this way. You have experienced failure in the past. You have been rejected. You have faced loss and disappointment, yet you are still here. You are still alive. You survived. And more than that, you have had moments of genuine joy, genuine connection, genuine accomplishment, even while carrying doubt about yourself. Imagine what would be possible if you cleared out the doubt. Imagine what you could create if you stopped running from your power and started running into it. If you stopped apologizing for who you are and started celebrating it. If you stopped hiding your potential and started assuming it was already fully expressed in your life. This is what the collapse of time means. It means moving from the energy of trying to the energy of being. It means no longer asking, how will I get this? And starting to ask, who would I be if I already had this? It means letting go of the desperate search for external validation and starting to give yourself permission from within. The person who has collapsed time is not someone who works less or cares less about their desires. They are someone who has stopped fighting against themselves, who has stopped dividing their energy between what they want and doubt about whether they can have it. They have unified themselves. They are whole. And this wholeness, this unified consciousness, this is the magnetic force that draws their desires into their life. Now I want to speak to something very tender. Many of you have been broken by life. You have trusted and been betrayed. You have believed in something and watched it crumble. You have hoped and been disappointed. And you have built walls around your heart to protect yourself from ever feeling that kind of pain again. These walls are real. They are thick. They are made of perfectly understandable pain and disappointment. But they are also slowly suffocating you. The truth that can heal you is this. What happened to you was not a reflection of your worth. What happened to you was not proof that you are unlovable or incapable or undeserving. What happened to you was simply the universe showing you the assumptions you were making at that time and reflecting them back to you so you could see them clearly. And now you have the power to change those assumptions. Now you have the power to create a different story. Now you have the power to assume something new about yourself and your life and your capacity to experience genuine, sustained happiness. The people who have hurt you were operating from their own assumptions, their own limitations, their own consciousness. They were not operating from a higher understanding. They did not know what you are beginning to understand right now. They were caught in the illusion of time and circumstance, just like everyone is, until they wake up. But you are beginning to wake up. You are beginning to understand that you are far more powerful than you have been living. And this understanding can liberate you. It can heal you. It can restore you to wholeness. One of the most beautiful things about this teaching is that it does not ask you to change anything about your external circumstances right now. It does not ask you to pretend that your struggles are not real or that your pain did not matter. It simply asks you to change what you are assuming about what these struggles and pain mean about you. Are you defined by your failures? Or are you someone who has had experiences that have taught you and grown you? Are you unworthy because you have made mistakes? Or are you a human being learning to love yourself through the mistakes? Are you trapped by circumstance? Or are you being invited to step into your power and consciously create a new reality? The shift from asking, when will this happen, to asking, who am I becoming, is the shift that collapses time itself. Because the future does not exist. It has no reality. The only thing that is real is the consciousness you are inhabiting right now in this present moment. And this consciousness, this assumption you are making right now, will generate everything that comes next. Your future is not something that happens to you. Your future is something you are assuming into being through the identity you are living from in this eternal now. Feel this. Really feel this. You are not waiting for your breakthrough. Your breakthrough is waiting for you to assume it. You are not waiting for the right person to love you. The right person is already drawn to the assumption of worthiness you are living. You are not waiting for abundance to find you. Abundance is already moving toward the consciousness that assumes it as truth. The waiting is over. The search is over. The chase is over. All that remains is for you to settle into the assumption of what you already are, what you already have, who you already are becoming. Let me paint one final picture for you. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. You are living a life that you have genuinely created, not because you won the lottery or because someone rescued you or because miraculous circumstances fell from the sky, but because you made a decision. You decided to change your assumption about yourself. You decided that no matter what was happening in your circumstances, you would assume you were worthy of extraordinary things. You would assume you had unique gifts to share. You would assume that your presence mattered. You would assume that you deserved to be happy, to be loved, to be fulfilled. And because you made this assumption, because you lived from this assumption, your entire life reorganized itself around it. The person you became was magnetic. Your energy shifted. Your choices shifted. The people you attracted shifted. The opportunities that came to you shifted. And now, 5 years later, looking back, you can barely recognize the person you used to be. Not because you became someone else, but because you finally became yourself. You finally assumed the truth about who you always were. This is not a fantasy. This is not a future possibility. This is a present reality that is waiting for you to step into it. This is an available version of you that exists right now, in the eternal present moment of consciousness. And all you have to do is assume it. All you have to do is stop fighting it. All you have to do is you feel what it feels like to be this version of you, and embody it until the external world catches up and shows you the proof that you have always known to be true. The illusion of time has kept you trapped in waiting. It has kept you believing that you are incomplete, that you are becoming, that you are getting closer. But completion is not a future event. It is a present choice. Wholeness is not something you achieve. It is something you assume. And the moment you make this assumption, truly make it, feeling it in every cell of your body, the moment you stop pushing against who you are and start allowing yourself to be who you truly are, the entire universe shifts to accommodate your expanded consciousness. There is nothing more to do. There is nothing more to become. There is nothing more to deserve. You already have it all within you. You have always had it. It was never hidden or far away. It was always right here, waiting for you to remember. And this remembering, this assumption, this shift from searching to being, this is what we call the collapse of time in manifestation. This is the instant transformation that seems impossible until it is real. And then it seems like the only thing that was ever possible. As you rest now, as you let the words settle into your consciousness, I want you to make a choice. A simple choice. Choose one assumption about yourself that you have been carrying that no longer serves you. Choose one belief about what you are incapable of, one story about your unworthiness, one assumption that you are not ready yet, and release it. Release it gently. Release it with compassion for the part of you that created this belief to protect you. But release it nonetheless, because it is not true. It was never true. It was only a story you were telling yourself based on the circumstances of your past. And now, in this moment, choose a new assumption. Choose to assume something generous about yourself. Assume that you are worthy. Assume that you are capable. Assume that you have unique gifts that the world is waiting to receive. Assume that you are already on your way to everything you desire, because you are already assuming it. Assume that the collapse of time has already happened, that the distance between who you are and who you are becoming has already been closed in the realm of consciousness where all real creation happens. Feel this assumption. Feel it in your chest. Feel it in your bones. Feel it in the quiet knowing that lives deeper than your doubts. Feel it as a completed fact, not as something you are hoping for. This assumption, this feeling, this belief about what is already true of you, this is the most powerful force in the universe. This is the force that creates worlds. This is the force that transforms lives. And this force is fully available to you right now. You are enough. You have always been enough. You are worthy. You have always been worthy. You are already becoming everything you want to be. and the external world is simply waiting to catch up with what you have already created in consciousness. This is not something that will happen for you someday. This is something that is happening for you right now, in this very moment, through the assumption you are making about yourself. Rest now in this knowledge. Rest in the peace of knowing that you do not have to chase anymore. Rest in the certainty that what you desire is not separate from you. Rest in the wholeness of finally accepting that you have always been complete. The time is now. The moment is now. The transformation is now. And you are already there, already becoming, already living the life you have been assuming into being. As you drift into sleep, carry this with you. The illusion of time is dissolving. The distance between what you want and what you are is collapsing. The external world is reorganizing itself right now to reflect the assumption you have made about your own power, your own worth, your own completeness. Tomorrow you will wake up in a life that has shifted to match your expanded consciousness. And every day after that, you will see more proof that what you have assumed to be true about yourself is manifesting into the reality you perceive. You are free. You have always been free. And now you remember